Carl, I'll do the hydrates at the start of the actual proper stream, so you have to hold on for a bit. But they will come. And they're off. Green flag racing. Matt's getting amazing start. Ultimate Case actually catching speed. Napping. Matt getting the jump on his teammate down the inside. Necron losing to Cuckoo on the start. Can he pressure Dino into a mistake? Dino goes too wide and extremely close for P1. And is this going to be Jetland going down the inside? Oh, there's a bit of contact. Oh, that's a spin. And that's another safety car. Oh my god, this carnage.
Jedlin and Kaze are both in the pits. Fennec, Exus, and Diener all coming in as well. It'll be very tight if he still wants to make it to the back of this pack, but in the meantime, we do have everyone out of the pit, so we're probably going to get going on this next lap. We are in fact restarting now regardless of that incident.
Okay, he's looking for that undercut. Does he get it? It looks like he might do that side by side and very close together. Cuckoo looking for that inside line on Jedlin ahead. Going into 130R, but they're going to be wanting to go fully defensive into the chicane of Casio Triangle. He's going to end up finishing in P1, crossing the line. Greenlink's going to cross the line. It's going to be Ultimate K's across the line.
Gilish comes across the line to win his second MSR title.
And oh yes, I got it. And hello viewers, and welcome to the MSR 1999 Stock Car League here at Jacarepaguá, and of course, as always, joined by WMDR Martin.
Greetings.
And before I do get this stream, I do have to take 5 hydrates from our car lover.
Yeah, I was about to say I was surprised to see your handsome face pop up there right at the start of the stream.
it disappears just like that. But yeah, so you join us on a non-oval. Oh, it's a weird one, isn't it? It's I don't know if it is an oval or not, because it's a trapeze more like this track. And
It's essentially an oval if you sat on it, which gets rid of the banking, and then smashed it with a hammer a few times, adding a few corners.
yeah, I mean it's yeah, it's an interesting one. It is. I don't know if you're gonna put the track map, but yeah, it's I think the only oval on our calendar where there's going to be heavy braking into not one but two turns.
Yeah, and I mean, I've heard some people say overtaking is going to be tough tonight, but with the lines I've seen certain people taking, with how wide these corners are and how long they are, I think we're going to be seeing people going for quite a few dive bombs, and who knows, some sideways cars could end up spicing things up. And I mean, these are not the easiest cars to corner in, so I think we could end up seeing quite a few incidents as well, with the wall not being too far away from the apex of the corner.
Yeah, especially going into this corner where the car's going to get dragged quite wide there. Oh, Ultimate K is brushing the wall ever so slightly, and then straight into a heavy braking zone. And I mean, I spoke to a lot of drivers as well. A lot of drivers saying that the track is very, very cold, and that it takes about 4 laps to properly get the tyres warmed up.
That is pretty interesting. I don't think we've seen anyone weaving so far, but people will have to set multiple laps by now, so the tires could already be at a decent temperature. As you can just see how sideways the car is getting into that corner there. Keza taking quite an aggressive line. Lots of tire smoke coming up there, as he's currently P2, 2/10 off provisional pole set by Xevious, which is a 56.8.
Yeah, and these laps are just going to get quicker and quicker as the timer goes on. 6 minutes left on the clock still, so lots of time to gain.
Lots of time to not scam Carlover for the hydrates as well.
Oh, fine, I won't put the camera on, but I'll do 2 more.
Also, shout out to Narumi for your first stream with us.
Yes, hello.
As looks like Veilside. Oh no, Cow takes provisional pole now. Also a 56.8, but on the lower end. And is that a new livery? Or is that just me not recognizing it?
It's the same livery. While talking about new liveries, Binding and Andrew are no longer in the Shame car.
Ooh, hold on.
I believe they have actually got their own livery.
Let's take a look at it.
So, a very yellowy livery with a mix of blue and white. I think next race I'm going to be doing the livery tier list.
Is that a barcode on the back?
I don't know. It is.
I wonder if you could scan it.
Now I want to try that. I need to buy a scanner now.
I am a little worried though, that 68 centiliters on the back of the car. I hope that's not for fuel.
Narumi saying, also, is this live stuff we are watching right now? Indeed it is. This is live right now. So
actually, this is a broadcast from the future, and you're one of the first to witness everything here. We're going to be getting our live reactions, although maybe slightly delayed on stream by just a couple seconds, but no time to edit anything. So yeah, it'll be all nice and raw reactions of these racing shenanigans. As we're about halfway through qualifying now, 4.5 minutes left to go.
Yeah,
Jedlin now has provisional pole, and he's got it by 13 milliseconds. I think he just improved by a singular millisecond there on the last lap.
Look how close the top 3 are. They're absolutely millimeters away. And it's I mean, if it's gonna get closer than that, I mean, there's still 4 minutes left, so there is a possibility that it will. But it's just insane to see how some of these drivers can get so close to each other on times.
Absolutely, as the top 3 now separated by less than 200ths of a second, so that is incredibly close, as I think there was an invisible car hitting the barrier in front of Max. Quite interesting stuff there, as he's currently P18, not doing too well. Ellie, though, in the pits, has not set a single lap yet.
Yeah, and talking about laps, I was about to mention that JD and Daylau had the same lap time, but I think JD has just improved by about 1 millisecond to just get ahead of Daylau. But Exevious taking provisional pole away from Jedlin, and this top and this top 3 spreading a little. The top 4 though are within a tenth of a second of each other, incredibly close, as Veilside all just outside of that 10th zone, getting into 5th, overtaking
And listen
Andrew.
to how low the revs are as he's in the corner as well.
Oh, again, properly close to the wall there. Let's bring the camera a bit towards there. Yeah, so this old circuit, this old oval, I can't even, I'm not calling it this old trapeze of a circuit.
Oh yeah, sorry, I actually forgot to bring up the track map. Good thing you mentioned it. As Exevious loses it there, might spell the end of his qualifying, as he's now down to P2, half a tenth behind Ricky now, who is now the new provisional P1 with a 56.7.
I must say that's quite interesting, because when Exevious crossed the line, he had set the fastest lap. He'd improved by his lap time, and I think Ricky must have been right behind him on track and just managed to get half of a tenth quicker than him.
Speaking of being quicker, I think Ellie might be going for a one-shot qualifying lap. Interesting.
Yeah.
Currently, we have everyone bar Shad going with sub 1 minute lap times. You can see Ellie weaving left and right, trying to get some heat into those tires. So definitely they do seem to be quite cold. I do wonder, this is going to be interesting to ask after the race, how much setup is going to matter, as Ricky improves by almost 3 full tenths, setting a 56.4, miles ahead of the rest on a short track like this.
What is in Ricky's car? That is absolutely insane.
As Ellie really doing everything they can there to get some more heat into those tires. Maybe not going to go for it on this next lap, but only a minute 15 left. There's not much time left to set another lap.
As I think if they get a good lap time in here, they're going to be able to get that second lap in, but just within the 10-second zone. And if they just manage to hook this lap up, they might be able to go for another lap.
Meanwhile, Veilside's put it into P2 with a 56.5. It's a decent bit ahead of the gaggle of cars behind, but still about a tenth and a half off of Ricky. Exevious improves as well, but stays third. Qualifying about to be over now, less than a minute left. And then we will get on to the race.
Yeah, the top 10 separated by 7 tenths. So I thought he'd get closer over qualifying, but I think people have been finding bits of pace that maybe some other drivers haven't been able to fully exploit yet. But Ellie coming to the line, it's going to be their first lap. And where is it going to place them?
It's a sub 1 minute. Puts Ellie into P19 with 1 chance left to set another lap. So let's quickly take a look at our provisional pole sitter so far, taking it quite sideways. Not a lot of tire smoke though.
Yeah, it looks like
and that's end of their lap there. So Ricky and Veilside both in the pits. Exevious, wow, 7 milliseconds to take provisional pole at the end.
Just stealing it away from Ricky.
As Andrew now, the fastest car, still on track, currently P7. Is he going to improve on his final attempt?
Coming to the line, is he going to be able to get ahead of Wild Mammoth, Cow, or Jaden, or even Veilside, Ricky, or Exevious across the line?
He does not improve. Now that leaves JD out in P10. Oh, that's a very slow car. They're not going to be improving. Trouble in P14, still going around.
I think
also quite slowly. Who is actually still pushing here? Oh, there we go.
Oh, whoever must have just crossed the line, but it's going to be Exevious to take pole, followed by Ricky very closely behind, Veilside, then Jedlin, then Cal, then Wild Mammoth, then Andrew, then Ultimate K's, then Binding, then JD, then Daylau, then Exus, then Kunisek, then Trouble 14th, Cuckoo 15th, Fixer 16th, Fennec in 17th, Max in 18th, Ellie in 19th, and Shad at the back in P20.
And seems like Mammoth has a grid penalty as well, so that will maybe... Well, I'm not sure if it's factored in yet, but that could give P6 to Andrew, as it does. Okay, so that's Mammoth in 7th now.
Yeah, you.
Welcome back from the commercial break, folks.
Yeah. But yeah, you join us back for the start of the race, where many cars indeed have raced before, like Formula. Well, not on this specific circuit, but Formula One cars have driven here. You got the for the Brazilian Grand Prix in 1978 and 1981 to 1989. Then you've got motorcycle racing as well. Stock cars, obviously, that's what we're driving. Porsche Cups driven here as well. And F3 cars as well, but no F2 cars. That's actually quite surprising looking at.
Well, did F2 even exist back then?
I mean, F3 existed, so I hope that F2...
I suppose.
But maybe F2 just didn't follow the same tracks.
Could very well be. Although, I mean, ancient F1 is a strange thing in general, because you could join an F1 race with an F2 car back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe in fact that it... Imagine multi-class with Formula cars. Now that would be something to watch. Be quite
it
big
would be quite
crashes,
chaotic.
I'll say
I think
that.
they should save that for the longer tracks.
Yeah.
Can you imagine doing that in Monaco?
Oh, that would... Oh my god, carnage.
It'd just be an actual traffic jam.
But the Formula... You bring the Formula E cars and they can still take the Formula E circuit.
You know, I remember watching the Formula E Monaco race back when it was still on the short layout, and I thought that was pretty awful, but as soon as they put Formula E on the full layout, that actually kind of worked. As formation lap starting now, so this is not the actual start of the race. They will go around... are they actually going to be side by side, or is it going to be single file?
I think it's going to be single file, going around twice. Once in single file to get everyone's tyres warmed up. And then the second round in double file, where that lap we will be racing.
I like how you say it's to warm up the tires. I'm pretty sure the tires just only get cold from this kind of thing.
I can...
That is the one thing I've never liked about MSR formation laps, is the tires just absolutely go Arctic on you.
I mean, it's going to cause quite the kerfuffle. Not only is this circuit going to be sort of cold, at least that's what I've heard, but on top of that, that turn 1 is going to be quite the menace.
As Shad
tires.
almost shoving himself into the barrier there. Definitely trying a lot of things to get the tire temperatures up, using a lot of revs, trying to spin the rears perhaps.
I wonder if it's possible if you just go to a track side view and see if I can get one of the side cameras and see if I can get everyone passing. Ah, this'll do. I could just do this with all of the cameras, because I think they go around in clockwise. As we see, I believe Xevious is the one leading this double formation. Ricky next to him, followed by Veilside, Jedlin, Cow, Andrew, Ultimate Case, Mammoth. Oh god, they're going too quickly.
If they're already going too quickly now, I don't even want to hear the commentary during the actual race.
Oh. And I wonder what this camera is going to be, because this camera is right in the middle of the track. Yeah, cars are going through it.
Oh yeah, that definitely seems a little bit lethal for the cameraman.
As we see them passing at what I believe is 100 kph. And in miles per hour, I should know this because, you know, unfortunately do not.
You measure things in butter crumpets per second.
But yeah, let's get to the back on board with... Is this Shad?
This is indeed Shad, currently P20 as we go through the final corner, about to start the race. And then, of course, I will switch the camera back to P1. But yeah, just a nice little view of the formation there. It looks like there's a bit of a hole on the left, but that might close up pretty soon.
So it's going to be Xevious leading the way on this trapeze of an oval. When is he going to go? When is he going to lead this group? And it's green flag racing. And Xevious getting quite the start. Wheel side as well. Also getting quite the tremendous start. Going down the inside of Ricky. Can he take away that P2 off the start? It looks like he's got his front end just ahead. And there's a bit of... Oh, there's a bit of contact. There's cars off. And I think that's trouble. Off into the grass.
As it looks like Xevious is pretty much pulling away too wide just behind them, but yeah, some chaos at the back there. Oh, there's more carnage! Oh, that was at the top of the screen. Didn't quite catch that very well. But yeah, that's more people out. Could be an early safety car already. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is an early safety car. So I felt it. I said I'd do this last time, where I said, should we get a another, like, make it 3 safety cars rather than just one, because in oval racing it's just inevitable to get a safety car or a caution, as it was.
It seems like it, but I actually forgot to put in my money for the poll on this one, so I'm a little miffed about that. It's because I always have to load Twitch twice before it gives me the dang poll.
Thank God, because someone has stolen someone else's points. I don't know exactly.
It's definitely not mine.
I will quickly get to the bottom of it.
As, yeah, the cars are all under safety car conditions now. That means the race has been neutralized. There will be no overtaking for the next 2 laps, as any cars with damage are given the chance to pit and rejoin the race at the back of the field. Although I don't think... Have we seen anyone come into the pits on this occasion?
I mean, everyone looks to be staying out, but that could be that... I mean, the crash happened down this back straight, so... It should... People, if they wanted to pit, should have pitted already. But maybe some people getting really lucky with the safety car. All I know is that the stewards are going to have to look into that one later on a Thursday evening.
Yeah, it's... last Thursday was quite the event there with all those meetings.
Yeah, indeed. As we could, I think we might be going racing this lap.
As looks like everyone is together, and Xevious stamps on that throttle, so he is off into the lead of the race again. Ricky close behind, followed by Veilside in P3.
Already almost 4 wide behind. Everyone heads once again into turn 1 for the 2nd time this race.
Yeah, I am not liking these trackside cameras very much. I think I'm going to switch to more onboards. Let's see what the battle for the lead's currently like. We got Jedlin in P5 tailgating Cow. It's all single file for now up front.
Yeah, Jedlin properly trying to pressure the back of Cow here, but also has to watch out.
Oh, look for P3. That's Veilside down the inside, going incredibly sideways on Ricky.
Yeah, Veilside currently our championship leader. So he's going to be trying to get a double win in these first 2 rounds. As
we're seeing Kunisek try and go for a move on the inside of JD for the just outside of the top 10 positions, but I think there's more going on in the front. Whoa. There's Veilside down the inside again, and Xevious is extremely wide.
Xevious losing not 1 but 2 positions there. 3
I think it's not going to be just 2.
Maybe 4. Oh, there's a bit of contact. Luckily, no gluing there.
That's Xevious essentially going from the lead down to P4, so that's been an awful corner for him, but luckily kept it out of the wall and no damage.
Oh, but never mind. I think Jedlin conceding back to Xevious.
So there's a lot more 2x2 action going on now, as once again a car sends it up the inside. This time it's Cow on Ricky again.
I think Jedlin spun it.
Oh, that is indeed Jedlin tumbling down the field, but he stays in P10, hits the wall. That's going to be bad for his slipstream chances as he gets overtaken by Fennec now. But, yeah, Ricky always choosing that outside line in the corners. I think someone's going to hit him if he keeps doing that.
Yeah. And that could easily, I mean, look, everyone's so close together. It could easily bring out another safety car.
Oh, I think we have another tumbler. That's Max pretty much spitting out.
Oh!
And getting collected by cars on top of each other.
That's another safety car.
It definitely should be if it isn't. But yeah, I noticed JD was standing still on the track as Max retires from the race. And now we get an interesting sideways camera view here.
I have to look at this at an angle.
But yeah, safety car has been called, so the race once again neutralized, this time with Veilside leading the pack. That was an interesting one there. I think we actually kind of caught what happened there, and it seemed like Max had just lost the rear end, and then basically came across the inside of the track where someone else was, I'm guessing, stuck there because they were getting into contact with another driver, and then just could not avoid him anymore, and then they all three just collided into one big massive mess. So very unfortunate there. We've lost one driver, but Excess is able to pit. So he's coming in, fixing that car. Doesn't look too bad, though, although that drool might need some cleaning up.
Yeah, Excess part of Kaiser's, both in the same team as, sorry. Got to find Excess in the same team as Kaiser. And both running SpongeBob-based liveries. So we're currently in looking at the Patrick livery. And
yeah, bikini bottom racing. Quite an interesting concept, that. As K's currently down in P6 with the SpongeBob car, although it's a little bit interesting. The Patrick one, I've just noticed this. It starts with his face on the front, as you can see. And then when you look to the rear, it's his pants. But then you do the same with SpongeBob. You can see it's his face in the front, but what is that up? That's not his pants. Why is it blue and why is it wet?
I swear SpongeBob has blue pants.
He does not. Have you seen SpongeBob?
God, we've opened a whole new...
Well, I do think we're about to restart the race. I'm going to put the camera back on Veilside for now, but yeah, food for thought there.
As Veilside controlling the pace of the pack. Not only the leader of this group, but the leader of the current championship.
And we're getting some comments here as well from Svi analyzing Ricky's strategy. I do think it's probably the optimal line, but just for risk management, you do not want to risk people sending it up the inside too much, especially with how deep they've been going into these corners. As some cars weaving a little bit there. It looks like we have another lap under safety car, so that's going to give Excess the chance to catch back up again.
Still under safety car condition, Excess full speeding it to try gain on the group. They're literally on the other side of the track right now to him. So Excess still has to put the foot down a bit if he wants to gain to the back of the pack before the safety car ends.
Yeah, I think it's a bit more merciful around a track like this compared to, let's say, the Nordschleife being half a lap down. As he's on to the same straight now after he navigates the next kink, essentially. I think you could take this flat. As he demonstrates that you definitely can, but they've already gone around the next kink, so you cannot actually see them yet, but they are just around the corner as we're about to restart this race now with Veilside as your leader, Ricky in P2, still Xevious recovering back to the podium positions.
I think he's just going to be able to gain onto the back of this pack as they go racing. Might even get a lucky slingshot. But as they come to the line, it's going to be Veilside leading the way. And it's green flag racing.
Yeah, Veilside's off to a pretty good start. Some cars behind, though, not getting as good of a start. We're seeing multiple people sending it down the inside already. But seems to all be clean so far.
Yeah, everyone... Oh, a little bit brushing from the wall, a bit of concrete dust coming off the side of it.
Yeah, concrete contact's not quite the best kind of contact in this sport, but everyone still together so far, so no major damage.
The two teammates of Ellie and Trouble just in front of Binding here. Might want to work together.
As Mammoth almost getting squeezed into the barrier. Oh, and look how much he's sending it in the corners. That's got to be harsh on his tires.
Yeah,
I will say, though, if we look at the leaders, the top two are pulling away.
Xevious making a move on Cow, getting a better exit clearly off of turn 4.
Still looking down the inside, but Xevious cuts him off, taking that racing line. But Cow is starting to take a lot of curb and somehow finds the inside again on exit.
These two properly battling with each other. And the leader's just ahead, so if these guys battle too much, they could actually lose a lot of time to the guys ahead.
I do wonder how powerful Slipstream is around a track like this, considering all the braking zones and stuff, because if you don't maintain enough momentum in the corners, that could well open up some gaps, as once again, they go side by side into the corner. Keza doing the same with, I believe, Daylau for P6.
Oh! Bit of contact with the wall from Xevious. That's not going to help his exit one bit.
Quite a few cars smacking into the wall there. Makes you wonder how forgiving the damage is, as looks like Cow is getting a bit of a push now.
As they're 3 wide going to turn 1. Quite a heavy braking zone. In fact, the heaviest braking zone in the entire calendar. If not the only one, except for the other braking zone in the circuit.
Let's go on board with Andrew, currently P6 chasing down Keza. The top two still almost a full second ahead of P3, but I think they're going to try and bump draft each other to catch up to the top two again, because the top two, I mean, Veilside's not going to be having any slipstreams, so he should be vulnerable by all means. As it looks like Andrew getting a bit of a tap there in the rear from Keza.
Oh, and Daylau trying to shove it down the inside of Andrew.
Yeah, let's go on board with Cuckoo, because this is quite the multi-car battle.
Yeah, Cuckoo getting a nice exit on Daylau. Daylau trying to push it down the inside, resulting them losing speed on this main straight. Hard into the braking zone. One Mammoth, Cuckoo's teammates, trying to look for a move as well. And Daylau, there's more contact between Andrew and Daylau.
Yeah, it looks like that corner is so long it essentially kind of has a double apex to it. You see people going in quite hot and then maybe get on the power a little too early. That seems to be what Daylau did there. As it looks like Xevious has pretty much caught up to the top two together with Cow. So these guys now fighting it out for the lead again. But there's a lot of moving under braking there from the outside from Ricky. As Cow sends it down the inside, really close to the leader now. And Xevious again just smacking his car into the barrier. I did see an announcement pre-race that wall riding was going to be frowned upon. So we'll just have to wait and see what exactly qualifies as wall riding. But he's definitely not taking it too easy so far, as we're going 3 wide into turn 1. Veilside in the lead for now.
Oh, as Cal shoving it down the inside for the lead of the race. Can he get the traction out of the corner? It looks like he has, because Ricky's trying to make a move on Veilside, now having the inside line. Bit of contact, and that could be both into the wall, and it is, and that's going to leave Xevious with a massive run on both Ricky and Veilside, and both Ricky and Veilside, who were 1 and 2, are now 3 and 4.
Yeah, that was a massively pointless squeeze. They're sending them both into the wall, costing them time, giving Xevious that second position back. But no threat from behind so far, as it seems like the drivers behind are too busy drifting it out.
Whoa, talk about drifting. Daylau almost drifting his way to retirement.
Yeah, almost drifting out of the race, in fact, as he almost even enters the pit lane as well. Down to P12 now for Daylau. His teammate still in the fight for the lead, currently in P4. But yeah, I think the cars behind are just fighting too much to really stay with the leaders at this point.
Andrew going wide there, losing not 1 but 2 positions. Luckily though, keeping it out of the wall, that'll be no damage. That will be maybe a few more positions. There's a bit of contact between Cuckoo and Andrew.
As we go on board with Fennec now behind this multi-car fight. I think that's Andrew. Oh, Jedlin there sending it on the inside, followed by Fennec. Andrew left out wide to dry.
Fennec, one of our reserve drivers, replacing Firerock tonight.
I will say, the amount of drifting that I've seen, this does look kind of fun. But quickly going back to the fight for the top positions, Veilside not quite having recovered from being squeezed into the wall yet, but the top 3 is still very, very close, as Ricky has a bit of a look down the inside, but thinks better of it.
Yeah, the top 4 separated by a second, and the top 3 separated by, well, I was about to say 5/10, but no longer as we head on to the main straight.
And I think Keza and Mammoth have been fighting for quite some time. That might be why they're not catching up, is because they keep re-overtaking each other. And look just how much slower Keza is on the straights, as he actually is getting bump drafted now by Mammoth.
That was actually quite a dangerous bump draft there. You saw Ultimate Kaiser's rear actually go up in the air for a second.
I mean, he was going abnormally slowly, it seemed, as he goes wide now. Takes the, as there's a lot of brake smoke from the guys up ahead. Yeah, that's what's going to be costing them time, just rubbing each other like that. Do not take that one out of context. Once again, the top 3 in formation, but we're going to go back down to some lower positions as there's more action going on a little bit further down the grid.
I think Ultimate Case has made a move on JD. JD in 6th place.
No, that would be JD making a move on Mammoth, because he was behind those guys.
Yeah, indeed then.
So JD trying to maybe get Keza, but up ahead, Veilside getting extra close to Ricky again. And Cow seems pretty comfortable in front. I don't think he's been challenged too much yet since getting that lead position back. As most of the fighting seems to be happening behind him for the moment. Ooh, but that wall is getting even more comfortable with him. That's not going to do his exit any favors.
Pulls to the left, trying to break the slipstream and also defend his position. Moving to the right now. Cannot defend. You can't move more than twice.
That's definitely a slide to the left, slide to the right moment there, as they all go into turn 1. Very sideways. As
Feel Well Fanta joins the chat saying, "Hello, Monday evening ritual."
Welcome, welcome. We're currently on lap 18, we're on lap 18 of this who knows how many lap race, as Veilside now sending it down the inside of Ricky on the straight. Seems to be a pretty easy overtake.
Yeah, quite the run there. That definitely wasn't just slipstream.
Well, he's not giving up though. Ricky holding it around the outside for now.
Ooh, and Veilside in fact conceding the position, not diving.
Does that count as a commentator's curse? I said it was an easy overtake and he just lost the position.
I think it was a slight one, not big enough for me to go, that was a notable commentator curse, but
just a minor one, as Cow's gap getting quite a bit smaller now, but I think we can see why he's not being challenged. Xevious is just bump drafting him down the entire straight.
Maybe trying to get away from Ricky and Veilside, which then are these two behind have been battling. Maybe not as much as Cow and Xevious might have wanted, but definitely enough for them to try and get away.
As we're now on board with Andrew in P8, JD losing the position to Mammoth again, so this fight definitely continuing on for quite a while. And seeing how much time that the car in the front of this pack keeps on losing on the straights, I think Slipstream's massive around here.
Yeah, as they head into the brake zone.
There from JD, and he sends it down the inside.
Down the inside. Oh, there's a bit of contact. And that's JD pushing Wild Mammoth wide. Or was it Cuckoo? I don't know. Could be any of them.
Well, Cuckoo's ahead of Mammoth now, so I'm assuming that was Mammoth getting shoved into the wall. Not an ideal line through that corner. I think Keza being the big winner out of that situation, but now he's still getting chased down by Andrew. Sending it up down the inside. No, just having a look for now. Ooh, and just up ahead as well, Xevious has lost P2 to Ricky, so that leaves Cow out alone in the lead for now. Maybe Ricky would continue that bump drafting once he catches up later.
Yeah, they head around the 3rd corner, setting themselves up for the final one.
Yeah, not the most exciting track layout, but definitely spicier than the average oval for sure.
Yeah, indeed, at least it has a braking zone. But these top 4 in an absolute class of their own right now. I think they are 6 seconds ahead of anyone in this pack further behind.
As Andrew now leads said pack, Keza relegated down to P6, chased by Jedlin and Cuckoo. Mammoth a little bit further behind, over a second. So Slipstream will be a little bit less powerful from back there, but he could rejoin as they continue to fight up ahead. Just behind Dela, going for a move on Kunisek down the inside, easy as you like.
As All the drivers fumbling over each other's positions a bit there. Everyone coming out completely fine, it seems.
As we're about to have our first lapped car, Shad not having the best of times at the moment. The leader's getting quite close to him. There you can see Cow in the background already. And hold on. Where's that 4-second gap come from? What happened to Ricky? He's down in 8th.
And where's Cow?
Cow's in the lead.
Okay, sorry. Well, so then maybe there was a bit of contact there between Ricky and Exevius then.
It's a shame we missed that. I put the camera back on the midfield because they weren't really doing anything up in front, but clearly I was wrong, as that does mean that now the top 2 are pretty much on their own, which I guess that means less slipstreaming potential, but on the other hand, I guess the guys behind have a better chance to catch, but they're just fighting it 3 wide again.
Lots of tire smoke and someone actually into the wall in the background. I believe that was binding.
Binding himself to the wall as per usual. No, that was just me. He doesn't actually usually do that. But yeah, top 2, Cow and Veilside, about 4 seconds ahead of Xevia, still in P3, so damage limitation from him there. As Ricky really in the thick of the fighting for now, with his teammate right behind.
Now, I don't want to say anything, but looking at the pace that we've seen Veilside having all
we've just lost our lapped car.
No! But yeah, looking at the racing that we've had all season from... Oh, never mind, as they're going quite too wide into the first corner.
And once again, a lot of tire smoke coming from Mammoth there.
Yeah, that's not going to do his rear tires any good.
I mean, the driving style kind of suits the livery, I guess. Average taxi driver be like.
Trying to get to his destination as fast as possible. But,
and hopefully for him, that destination is P1. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see where he ends up as he continues to fight in this pack. The 2 teammates ahead going side by side. Now JD sending it to the inside of Ricky. Now getting into contact with Mammoth as well. 3 wide again on exit.
Nope, that was a very interesting camera. Thanks for changing it. But yeah, Fennec just watching this fight, and I wonder if these this group battles are hard enough. Looks like they're almost 3 wide, back to 2 wide. Whether Fennec might be able to gain some positions from this. There's a bit of contact, and talking about gaining positions, it looks like Fennec is doing exactly that.
As they're all squeezing each other, that's only going to end in disaster if no one pulls out.
Oh, 3 wide through this long corner here. Still a lot of bumping.
I've had to resort to using binding as the camera car because everyone else is just too close to get a good angle of it.
Let me zoom in on this.
As he's actually catching him quite significantly. They're really holding each other up here. He just decimated that multiple second gap.
Everyone making it through the corner. It looks like Exus got whacked a bit wide there by Ricky. Ricky losing a position to Kunisek and binding now on the back of Ricky, and could be looking for an overtake going into turn 1.
I kind of wish that the walls around this track worked like the walls around those ghost tracks in Mario Kart Wii, where the wall falls apart if you hit it. And then we just see people flying off the track if they keep on hitting the same bit of wall over and over.
Oh, what is it? Is it like the King Boo racetrack or something?
It's one of the Boo tracks,
It's one of the Boo tracks. Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, yes. We need that. Because I think everyone at one point will go completely off of turn 1.
Someone mod that into the game, please, as Binding really catching up to this fight now. And I think I saw some debris there about half a lap ago from one of the yellow cars. Hopefully. But no one coming into the pits for now.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully that isn't terminal. As Exus going wide there and losing a position. 2 cars ahead going wide. That's Daylau and Ricky. They are getting a terrible exit.
No, that's JD.
Oh, sorry, JD.
As Patrick retakes the position, recovering from that awful corner entry, going about as deep as you can without hitting the wall. Once we get through this corner, though, I'm quickly...
Oh! Contact between JD and Exus.
Yeah, as JD cheekily cuts a little bit of the track there, but just quickly gonna eye up the top 2 again. They are really lonely. But I don't know. I don't feel like Andrew and Kays are really catching these guys.
Lonely cow and veal sides in your area. I think if these two, if cow and veal side are clever, if they're really clever, they'll work together. And then what veal side will do is try to save his tires a bit, save a bit of fuel maybe as well.
Oh my goodness.
And then maybe when the pit stops come along, maybe veal side won't have to fuel as much, or maybe not even change tires just from sitting behind cow.
I just look at all the weaving going on the straight at the moment. They're about, who knows, 4 or 5 wide at the front over there, just all over the place in this lower midfield. As I believe there's some shuffling going on for P5 as well. Or no, Xevious is dropping. He's backwards.
Oh, nearly going a bit wide there. That could have been terminal.
Oh, that is a very beat up looking car. That makes, especially because he was on the outside, I wonder if he got tapped into a spin by someone, because I think usually if people spin around here, they kind of do that onto the inside of the track.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, maybe he had a moment of overspin, tried to correct it, and ended up planting himself in the wall. But talking about planting your fingers in the wall, it looks like everyone going quite wide there. I thought there would be contact with the wall, and no, everyone actually keeping it out of the, I just did a does that count
Commentator's
as
blessing?
Yeah, commentator's blessing. That I was me fully saying that I was expecting someone to go into the wall. In fact, I thought someone would definitely go into the wall. And you know, we still have turn 1. No,
I will say though, ooh, as turn 1 does look a little bit spicy again on this occasion. Another wall getting a big fancy hug there from Trickster, but yeah, the implications of that spin for Xevious are quite big actually, because the top 2 have dropped away from each other. Somehow Cow's managed to pull a 2-second gap on Veilside. Don't ask me how he's done that when he's got no slipstream. Keza is on his own now, so he's no longer able to bump draft anyone. So now the question is Keza going to be able to catch Veilside on raw pace in the next 40 minutes? Because neither of them have slipstream at this point.
yeah.
And the nearest bump draft possibility is for P4 here with Andrew and Jedlin. But they seem to be battling, so who knows what's going to happen out in front.
I actually spoke to Kaiser a couple of days before the race and asked him, do you think it's going to be closer than Daytona, or do you think it's going to be further and people might separate a bit more?
No.
And talk about separating. Oh,
That's an extra tap from Trickster.
And I think that's a rear bumper or front bumper of someone.
That's
on the side of the
JD
road.
losing a part of his car. Yeah, it was already a big mistake there, and then Trickster unfortunately not able to avoid, so both cars definitely getting damaged there. As he continues on, but well and truly down the field after that one.
Yeah, so back onto what I was saying with Ultimate K's anyways. Well, it looked like, never mind, it looked like there was a bit of collision there between, I believe, Binding and someone else.
Well, Binding still got a fairly good view of the fight up ahead, but I think Ricky's going to be a better camera car for now.
Yeah, it's heading into
Excess,
turn 1.
really just kind of having a look there. Who's that going wide on exit?
That looks to be like a Kunisek.
Yeah, keeps it out of the wall, but probably not the ideal line, as he's really giving Daylau a run there on the straight.
Anyway, before there's any more action, I've got to... So yeah, Ultimate K is saying, I think it's going to be quite a more spread race, and as far as I'm concerned right now, it is exactly that.
And remarkably as well, it seems like everyone involved in that incident earlier is staying out of the pits. So maybe the car is just not really being that sensitive to damage here. Or they just don't want to be put a lap down in case of a safety car, who knows. But yeah, it seems like especially the front of the field well and truly separated now. There's 7 seconds between Mammoth and Daylau in P7 and 8. And most of the fighting seems to be going on for P8.
Yeah, currently looking at the championship standings. If the points are as they'll stand right now, it will be Veilside still leading the championship, and Cal will definitely be promoted up to, I believe, 2nd position. And find out JD, who is in second place currently in the championship, I believe will lose some positions if his pace.
Exus having a look on. That is, who is that?
I believe that was Fennec.
I hate these trackside cameras as, Fennec just hitting the wall. They're losing a lot of speed. Down to P12.
Finding making a move on Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky's race not been going all too well so far. Unless there's another safety car, he's not got a very good chance at fighting for the lead positions again. I think this race definitely showing us what a bit more of a realistic race would be like with fewer safety cars, as Ricky... I was gonna say almost getting squeezed. Before I could even finish my sentence, he actually did get fully squeezed, so a bit of a careless driving there from Binding, unfortunately. Not the first that we've seen of that this race, though, not just from him. It's been a few people squishing others into the wall.
I mean, it's so easy there. That corner is... You'd expect it to be easy to make a corner as long as that, but at that high of speed with these cars, as much as they do have that wing on the back, they don't have that much aero, and it's so easy to understeer them, especially with how their suspension is.
Yeah, but the most of the squeezes seem to be happening when people are basically already out of the corner and onto the straight, and they're just trying to squeeze people to make them back out, and they don't back out, and then you end up in a crash. Or it could just be a lack of awareness of where the barrier is exactly.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully everyone's radar and crew chief are on to let the people know at least that where people are.
Does the radar show the barrier?
I believe... No, I don't think it does. But I think crew chief at least will be like... at least give them a really big heads up. And I mean, looking at... especially from when you're in the car, you can at least work out where the wall is.
I certainly hope so, as it looks like the fight at the rear is really starting to pick up some speed now.
Yeah, the battle for 13th place, Kunisek, Trouble, Trixer, and Ellie.
Is Ellie gonna get squeezed on exit as almost every single one of these guys, except for Trixer, hits the wall? The gap for P1 is extending as well. It's about 2.5 seconds now, so Cow well and truly eliminating any sort of slipstream that Veilside could be getting there. But again, the gap between Veilside and Keza is still pretty much exactly 5 seconds. So no movement whatsoever up there.
Oh, as Ellie goes wide, that's not going to help their exit one bit. And it looks like an Exevious in the background trying to make moves on both Ellie and Trixer. He's made one move on Trixer, now on the hunt for Ellie.
Yeah, and I mean, just look at the front of that car. I'm surprised he hasn't come into the pits.
Yeah, there's definitely got to be some damage on there. I mean, we know how AMS2 can be with glitching and damage and stuff, but these cars, I mean, we've seen already people crash into each other and not have that sort of damage, and I just believe that that is actual, in fact, damage that we're looking at.
Just look at how slow he is on the straights. He's getting caught by Trixer already.
Yeah, and Ellie getting away quite significantly.
So he's going to really be holding on to that slipstream for dear life, because if he... I don't think he wants to be in the kinds of areas that JD is in, about half a minute off of... Well, actually, about 20 seconds, so about a third of a minute off of anyone else. Except for maybe the lead drivers behind, who could end up lapping him within a couple of laps. But yeah, some more fighting going on for P3. I don't really feel like any of these guys are close enough to be bump drafting anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they're close enough to get the slipstream from each other, but they just seem to be just surviving on slipstream, not able to make any more moves. As Ultimate K is leading the group for third place between himself, Andrew, and Jadlin, but the teammates of Cuckoo and Wild Mammoth in the Peaky Blinder cars, also known as the taxi cars, are not far behind.
That is, I think Fennec having a bit of a look down the inside of Ricky there, almost making a move stick, but having to save the car from almost spinning there. As looks like that's another kiss of the wall for Trixer in the background. I think we do have some bump drafting going on. I think Exus and Daylau could possibly be getting up to that. Let's just stay on the bumper cam for a bit, see what they do on the next straight.
Now, we know Daylau is an aggressive driver, but how much of an aggressive overtake is he going to make? It might not need to make that much of an aggressive overtake here. Exus is going to continuously hit the wall. That is very unfortunate. Exus going semi-defensive, leaves room on the outside and the inside, but Daylau actually giving a bump draft here, I can only presume. Exus braking quite late, still able to get the braking zone. And in fact, it's Daylau, the one going wide, and in fact leaving themselves a bit compromised to Binding, who can make the move down the inside. He found the position there, and he's going to try and make the move there side by side, but Binding getting the... Oh, and I've messed the cameras up. There we go, thank you.
Yeah, so Daylau has in fact lost that position, but he's already having another look up the inside of the very next corner, sends it on Binding. What's Binding going to do here?
Binding stuck on the outside. Will he be forced? He has been forced. Both drivers gluing together, and that's not going to help either of their races.
Yeah, that was an almighty smack into the wall for the both of them, so that lets the others kind of shuffle back into those positions. Binding losing a bit more time from that encounter, but all in all, still one solid group there. Skunisek lags behind a little bit. His teammate, though, has managed to overtake both Trouble, Ellie, and Trickster. So despite the damage, still performing quite well at the tail end of the field. And another thing of note, Cow has lost time to Veilside.
Well, I've been looking at their lap times over these last couple laps, and funny enough, they seem to be trading faster laps between each other.
Oh, look at that last lap, though.
Wow, okay, that is extremely quick. Getting a 56.
I mean, maybe he's just been saving fuel this entire time?
Yeah, could be, and he's gained massive. If this isn't in fact a strategy, he's gained massively because of it.
Meanwhile, still lots of fighting going on in the chasing pack, which is definitely only going to serve to increase the gap. I think that's currently Andrew down the inside of Jedlin now as they chase Keza for that final podium spot. Mammoth watching on from a distance, himself being chased by Cuckoo. And then the next car is about 11 seconds down the road, and that's why Daylau was so desperate to bump draft there, to just close that gap, but I don't think it's going to happen in the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, now watching the battle between Fennec and Daylau. This is a place where normally people would be shoved into the walls. Fennec closes the door, gets the braking zone, and I think just not going too wide, but I think compromising them a bit to Daylau.
I think what could make these cars a bit more interesting around a track like this is even more power, because the revs kind of sound a little underwhelming on corner exit because you have to upshift.
I mean, with these cars, especially around ovals, you're only supposed to be hitting third and fourth around the oval track, and I think some of these drivers, they don't want to hit second, but some of them are going to be having to hit that second gear, and I think that's just going to destroy some of their revs and some of their momentum.
Meanwhile, Exus and Ricky trading positions there in the front as Binding becomes one of the first cars to pit. Now, I have to wonder, is that a scheduled pit stop, or is that for the damage from hitting that wall earlier?
Well, I mean, we're more than halfway through the race now. It was an hour and 10 minutes, so 70 minutes total, and it's been about 40 minutes. 40? More than 40 minutes. So the halfway mark has in fact gone. So I wonder if it is strategy, and Binding has now fueled for the end of the race, but he is going to come out in front. In fact, I think have other people, because he's come out in ahead of a group. No, he hasn't.
Well, he's several laps down at this point. As wow, that's a lot of smoke again. He's got a good view of this fight. That's Exus losing quite a few positions there again, although I think he's managed to recover one. And Binding's got a really good run on these guys. He's allowed to unlap himself, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's not Formula 1 blue flags. It is, in fact, IndyCar or NASCAR blue flags, where you are actually allowed to fight.
Was he going to go around the outside here?
And then cut in?
Well, I was thinking maybe he switched onto new tires and he tried to use some of that superior grip to go around the outside, but he's definitely got plenty of traction, it seems, so feeling pretty good after that pit stop. I guess he's only one lap down because he's about a minute 24 behind the leader, so not multiple laps. That was just a bug in the timings. And the top two, actually, side by side once again, so Veilside definitely upping the pressure again. I think he was definitely strategically holding back earlier because Cow is not going to be able to get rid of the slipstream anymore now.
Now, I've got to say, if I was Cal at this point and I needed, and there was in fact a pit stop that I needed to do, there was in fact a pit stop that I needed to do, I would pit now to try and cover off Veilside.
Yeah, the question is, where would you come out? Because as you noticed with Binding, he came out in quite a bit of traffic, and if you can slingshot past, then it's great for you. But if you get embroiled in a massive fight, that is going to be detrimental to your race.
As Andrew making the move on Wild Mammoth. In fact, was he defending? Hang on. I think that might be a defense.
Well, these guys are constantly re-overtaking each other with the slipstream anyway, so doesn't make too much of a difference. But Keza, though, consistently being ahead of these guys. I feel like they keep on fighting each other so much that they end up not capitalizing on Keza's mistakes as he goes really wide.
And does that leave him open to Jedlin? Jedlin might have a run through the corner.
Okay, that definitely counts as a curse, because I just said they weren't capitalizing on Keza's mistakes.
But, yeah, now Ultimate Kaiser is, in fact, in this race. And he was quite far up the road, at least compared to both Andrew and Wild Mammoth.
Ooh,
but now both
wide.
these two have massively gained. And this has turned from a 2-car to a 4-car battle in moments.
Yeah, but look at that. Jedlin, who was the guy that was putting pressure on Keza, now at the back of this pack. So we'll see how aggressive Andrew and Mammoth are. But, oh, they're about to make a 3 wide.
As they head round the 3rd corner into the 4th corner. Is anyone going to be squeezed into the wall? Heavy braking. Wild Mammoth with the inside line. Andrew stuck on the outside. Jedlin shoving his nose into Andrew. Andrew, though, having the momentum to just stay ahead there of Jedlin and able to keep that position and get the momentum off the corner.
Yeah, Keza being quite smart, taking the inside line whenever he can, as the game starts to lag a bit for me. But 3 different lines into turn 1. We'll see how that pans out. And Kunisek now leaving the pits as well, doing their probably scheduled pit stop. So once again, the 2 cars behind going side by side, unable to put any pressure on the cars up ahead. Keza going defensive on the inside, on the straight already. That's quite early.
24 minutes left on the clock. Still, the only person who's pitted for at least a scheduled pit stop is Binding so far. I'm wondering, could this be a no-stop race?
Oh, look at how wide the 2 ahead are going. That's really, really good there for Andrew, slipping into P3, but he's squeezing. Oh, he almost murdered Mammoth there.
And that is quite bad for Ultimate Kaiser, who loses 3 positions in 1 corner, but he's still part of this race. They're going 2 by 2 across the line and 2 by 2 into the 1st corner, almost 3 wide, potentially 4. They head down heavy into the braking zone through this long left-hander. And they're still 2 by 2 through the corner. Lots of tyre smoke coming off of, I believe, Wild Mammoth's car. As they head now single file through the next corner. But Ultimate K is poking his nose into Wild Mammoth's side of Wild Mammoth's car. And in fact now looking to make a move on Andrew. Andrew leading this pack of 3 cars now. Can everyone keep it clean? Are they going to be able to keep it clean for this next corner? Everyone going a bit wide, it seems. Can Jedlin benefit off of both Ultimate K's and Wild Mammoth fighting?
Next hand corner. I love the stuff you come up with. As once again, single file down the straight. That's going to be slipstream for all 3 of these guys behind Andrew. We'll see who has any ideas into turn 1. It seems like it's Mammoth going for the inside, but that could just be to defend from Keza.
Yeah, Keza there on the outside, but he's going to set himself up for a better line out the corner. Once again, Wild Mammoth creating an absolute smokescreen. A bit of contact there between Wildman and Ultimate Kaiser. That's going to lose Kaiser quite a bit of run, but he's going to get back into slipstream straight away. But Jedlin now onto the left side of Ultimate Kaiser as we get quite a questionable camera there, as Jedlin making the move down the inside through turn 3. Ultimate Kaiser conceding the position, not fighting it too hard, but up ahead it looks like they are fighting quite hard. In fact, tandeming through that final corner as Wild Mammoth is putting the pressure on Andrew.
Yeah, Kaiser got an amazing exit there, but Jedlin was so slow coming out of the corner. Kaiser had to jerk left and kind of ruin his own exit, so he stays at the back of this pack for now. Andrew and Mammoth, though, still side by side for P3 into turn 1.
Once again, this pack of 4 drivers battling for P3, going 2 by 2 through turn 1. A bit of contact there, not that much though, as we've seen before, between Wild Mammoth and Andrew as they go 2 wide through turn 2.
Yeah, and the action in the midfield definitely not getting any less spicy either, as we have a fight going on from P8 all the way down to P12.
Made a move for the lead.
Oh, yes he has, but Cal though still in slipstream, so he could retake that position, I assume, if he wanted to, unless his tires are really starting to give out on him.
I mean, looking at how that time dropped, I think Cal went wide through that corner and maybe just didn't lose. I mean, you can just see he isn't putting as much speed and much torque down as I think most drivers would want.
I mean, that could just be the reason why they're so fast, is because they're taking it so easy into the corners. They could just be taking better care of the tires. As Cal stays in the slipstream for now, the battle between the P3 guys still raging, as Kaiser now at the back of it once again. He's actually lost a lot of time there.
No!
Ooh, so that could be very dangerous for Kaiser, losing touch with that group with just 20 minutes left to go. And Cuckoo is right there with him, so that could end up being another fight to distract them, or they could try and bump draft each other and rejoin that fight for P3. If Cuckoo could get involved in the fight for P3, that would be an amazing comeback. As we're just going to take a quick look at this multi-car fight again.
Yeah,
so these guys keeping it clean so far, as they've been fighting for pretty much half the race, it feels like.
Yeah, the battle for P8 between 5 drivers, Ricky, Daylau, Exus, Xevious, and Fennec, as we see, I'm guessing the second of the scheduled pit stop. That's Ultimate K's, Cuckoo, and Daylau all pitting and trying to get, I'm guessing, going to be only for fuel this late in the game.
As Cal retakes the lead from Veilside down the inside. Veilside trying to hold it around the outside. It's not going to work for him though, as he slots back in to P2. Really curious now which one of these guys is going to pit first.
Neither of them pit this lap. And Veilside looks like he has the slipstream on Cal there. And
yeah, but he's holding back. He's not going to go for it.
Oh, late braking. He's actually moving on the inside very close. Cal actually moving a bit further wide as not to have contact with Veilside.
I stand corrected. As Veilside does indeed retake the lead, but Andrew and Mammoth now pitting. That leaves Veilside, Jedlin, as the only car from that top 3 fight to third position fight to stay out, as that's someone really losing the car. That's Rick. No, that's not Ricky.
No, I think that might be a Daylau.
Daylau, where is this guy on the list? He is in P17, not having the best of times. Trouble now pitting as well.
As do they pit, they stay out longer, as I wonder what the strategy, I mean, we're seeing a lot of people make their pit stops. The Cal goes for the move, retakes first place from Veilside, the current championship leader. As we see people leaving the pit lane, but these two still fighting like it's the last lap of the race.
And interestingly enough, Kaiser and Cuckoo came out really, really close to each other, so their pit stops do not seem to have had anything go wrong there. That could be good news for them. I wonder where the others are at this point. Andrew and them are still about 4 seconds ahead, so nothing went wrong there either, as Fennec comes in for his pit stop now. It's going to be very interesting to see where Jedlin comes out when he pits. Because I think... Well, who was Andrew fighting with before? Mammoth, he's lost time. He's behind both Cuckoo and Keza now.
Yeah, Mammoth was in that top fight with Ultimate K's, and well, until he dropped off, and now is in fact behind, as we see there's both the leaders pitting from the lead, and Cal is right behind. We can see a battle for the pit stops here, and who's going to come out first? Is it going to be Cal? Is it going to be Vilside? This is for position on track.
I would definitely be worried if the leaders would pit from anywhere other but the lead. As Jetlin now comes in as well, I think the car is well and truly running out of fuel at this point. That means the lead driver not in the pits is Ricky, but has he had his scheduled stop yet? I doubt it.
I don't think so, as I think Vilside leaving the pit lane now. And where's Cal?
Is not with him. Oh, that is incredibly painful for Cal. That could just hand the win right to Vilside 16 minutes before the finish.
He's been given the go by his team, but maybe he's getting repairs. Maybe he had some damage. I mean, he looks like he's stuck in that pit lane.
Could be engine damage, as some other cars there jumping him in the pits. This is an absolute disaster for Cal. He went from leading this race to now coming out in what seems to be a lower top 10 position. And he's going to have plenty of people to fight with as well. No more private P1 racing for him.
Yeah, I mean, Ultimate K's and Cuckoo have jumped him. That's an oh!
Yeah, you can add that one.
Yeah,
to the
that's
list.
what. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, K's. I'll take full blame for that one. Oh my goodness.
As Ricky and Exus now come in as well. I assume Ellie as well. Yes, Ellie coming into the pits, which means the drivers at the front are now in their realistic finishing positions. Vilside leading this race by a country mile after Cal decided to graze just a little bit too long in the pits. Makes Andrew P2, and he's actually being kept company by his teammate Binding.
I mean, Binding
on a different lap, though.
Yeah, Binding on the lap behind, but I think these two are actually working together to try and get Andrew up towards the front.
I mean, it would be a big brain strategy if it weren't for the fact that Andrew is currently 21 seconds off the lead, but it could keep him safe from Cal in P3, so Cal's actually recovered a few spots there already.
I mean, has Andrew pitted yet? I don't think Andrew's pitted.
Yes, yeah, and Andrew has pitted.
Oh, yeah, he has pitted. This is great then for Andrew.
Yeah, so once again, it looks like the real fight going on is really for P3, as P1 and 2 look fairly safe, but never say never, because there's only 6 seconds separating Andrew from the likes of Cal, Cuckoo, and Jedlin. This fight no longer including Keza, as he's down in 10th behind Kunizek.
Yeah, Cal being up with Vilside, but having quite the bad pit stop, and in fact dropped him down around the 8th mark, and he's already made it up to P3. I think it's inevitable that he'll make it up to P2, but it's whether he can get past Andrew.
And who exactly is Jedlin fighting with here? Because that is not a car on the lead lap. It's not Ricky. It is JD fighting from last place.
I mean, JD is completely entitled to fight the leaders.
Yeah, but I mean, these guys have been doing so much fighting internally anyway. I don't think it makes that big of a difference. But Cow definitely benefiting from this, as he's already pulling away from both Cuckoo and Jedlin. So it looks like this fight might not be as spicy as the previous ones we've had for P3.
Yeah, I mean, Cal though he was up with the leaders and with the leader Vilside at one point, and those two were just absolutely in another league at the start. And I think all due to that pit stop, he's been put down with some drivers which are not as quick as Vilside.
Yeah, as we're seeing some more side-by-side action here. Cuckoo really lacking the straight line speed to stay ahead of Jedlin. Jedlin getting the pass done before they even get to the corner. JD sending it.
Oh, Cuckoo's not going to be happy one bit about that.
Yeah, but still in the slipstream though, so potential to recover, but I think P3 is well and truly off the cards at this point. As Xevious now fighting with, who is that? With Trouble, yes. And Trouble and Ellie, two teammates, have been staying fairly close to each other for the whole race.
Indeed, these iron, what can be described as that Iron Dame Catmobile's been, yeah.
I gotta say, I do like the front of that car.
I like the patterns. I think the patterns are awesome on this car. And I mean, You're gonna know my honest opinion about it. Hopefully, next race where I'll be doing the livery tier list.
I mean, I think the patterns are nice, but it makes the rear look naked.
You're
There's
not
just
wrong.
not a whole
You're
lot there.
not wrong about that. That is, I would say, a very, very unfortunate. That if only they added some white in the back, it would. That sounds a bit. Yeah, there definitely is something missing.
As we're quickly going to go back on board with Xevious, recovering to P12 once he gets through this corner with nice battle with Trickster here. But yeah, recovering from the tail end of the field after fighting for the lead earlier in this race, so it's been a tough one for him, but recovering to P12 is definitely a respectable achievement, and he could realistically still make his way up to P11 as well if Delau slows down a bit. Just about 2 to 3 seconds up the road, although Delau... No, so that was someone else's slipstream. Yeah, Delau on his own, 3 seconds behind Kunisek, not getting any slipstream from that battle, unless they slip up, as they're currently fighting with Kaiser for P9. So Kaiser's recovered another position. And Veilside's lost about a second to Andrew, but that's just really a singular droplet from a bucket of water's worth of distance there.
Yeah, no, but Cal's the only one doing... I think I know why Cal was so slow.
Tires?
Tires? It has to be tires.
I mean, he is going pretty quick right now, 56.6 on his last lap. He could actually get P2 here.
I mean, he's gaining almost a second every lap on both of the drivers in front.
Oh yeah, just listen to how early he gets on the throttle in that final corner there. It's a lot earlier than I've seen a lot of other people get. And I'm guessing that's why the field is so spread out. You get certain people who are able to get on the power very early, and others just keep sending it lap after lap after lap, killing their tires and just going too deep to be able to keep the revs high enough for a good exit. As Andrew definitely losing time here. It is remarkable though, because he's still getting bump drafted by his teammate, but as you mentioned earlier, it does not seem to be helping very much.
I mean, I think personally Binding here is playing the massive team game of, Andrew, I've kind of messed my own race up a bit. I'm quite far down, not fighting for that many points. You're fighting for some points. Let's do this for the team and let's push and push and push together.
What makes this extra interesting is Binding's potential here is not just as a bump drafting teammate, it is also the potential to block Cow, because of course you still have to do it within the rules, but since there's no blue flags, I mean, it could be another obstacle for Cow to get that second position.
He's by all means, he's not allowed to defend.
Oh.
However, he is allowed to hold it. I believe he is allowed to hold it round the outside or re-overtake if he can make the overtake.
So he's not allowed to hold the inside line?
So he's not allowed to defend.
Yeah, but what is defending on an oval?
Holding the inside line is what I would count as.
See, that's a tricky one, though, because imagine you've got Cal right behind you and you're just slipstreaming your teammate. Do you expressly have to leave the slipstream to give the inside line to Cal?
Well, I mean, ideally, Cal would, Andrew would be on the racing line already. So, to think about it, if Cal really wants to make that overtake, he has to dive not one, but 2 cars in one.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see as that gap is really starting to shrink now, but I'm quickly going to take another look at what's going on here. I think Keza currently fighting with Fennec. Kunisek is up to P8 now, so there's some switcheroos going on with the positions there as Xevious and Delau start to catch this duo as well. So this looks like it's a fight that's going to increase in size. A nice little bit of battling brewing there. So we're still fighting hard for P4 between Cuckoo and Jedlin. Mammoth not a part of that. But yeah, staying with Cal now as he's really on the back of this duo now.
Yeah, and I wonder what Binding is going to do, how he's going to be a team player. He can't be as much of a team player as Perez in Abu Dhabi 2021. But, oh, it's going to be Cal down the inside of not 1 but 2. I said it, and it looks like he might do it. Oh, and I think he has.
Yeah, that was... He made it look easy. I'd be a little bit embarrassed if I was Andrew, to be fair. That was a very easy overtake for P2, but he's got slipstream now. Is he going to send it down turn 1, or is he going to bump draft Cow? Well, there are still 7.5 minutes left in this race. The nearest cars are about 7 seconds behind. That is within the range of about a single spin, so any big mistake here could still cost any of these drivers.
Yeah, Andrew in the chat saying, what a move, and what a move indeed that we just saw.
Binding once again serving as our premium camera car. But yeah, I am curious to see how this will develop, but quickly gonna take another look at this fight as Kunisek now trying to make a move on Xevious. Kunisek going from P8 down to P11 again, and Fennec from P10 or 11 back up to P8. So these guys are shuffling like crazy. And now we got Daylau sending it up the inside as well. Yeah, just a lot of off-camera action going on here. Let's keep the camera on these guys for a bit longer because I don't think it's too realistic for Andrew to take back that position from Cow considering his pace. But yeah, nice side-by-side here on exit between Daylau and Kunisek. Who's going to come out on top into turn 1?
It's going to be Kunisek with the inside line, Daylau on the outside. And I wonder, has Daylau pitted for maybe better tyres, or have either of these guys pitted for better tyres? But it looks like they're very on similar strategies because Daylau can't make the move around the outside and Kunisek holds on for another corner and maybe another lap.
Yeah, it's just up ahead. Kays is still fighting hard with Fennec for that 8th position. Exus up ahead has well and truly broken away from this fight now. Although, let's just quickly double check on Daylau again with his camera, because I think he's got a good view of this entire thing. And that's Keza on the outside getting overtaken by Xevious. So Xevious, he's managed to come from the back of the grid after his massive crash back into the top 10, fighting for P8.
That is absolutely an incredible recovery, especially when he had that damage on the car, and that's Ultimate K's. He's overextended the corner. Can Fennec get the switch back? It looks like he's in fact overextended his car and he's into the wall.
How on earth has Keza managed to get another incident where his car just snaps into the wall face first?
Oh, I've been hydrated. I need to find my drink, but I think I've lost it. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that is a very, very sad end to Keza's race. He went from fighting for the podium positions for most of the race, to be fair, to having multiple incidents where he just goes face first into the barrier. And now he's down in P13 fighting with Ellie.
Yeah, Andrew saying, Kays, don't turn right in a left-hander. First rule of racing. I think maybe Kays took a note out of Doc Hudson's book by accident.
He watched the wrong racing movie. As Jedlin still fairly comfortably ahead of Cuckoo for P4.
Now,
and I think that is still JD right behind, not getting too involved at this stage.
I don't want to say anything, but it looks like Cow is gaining quite significantly. I don't know if it's enough to gain, but he's gaining about, it looks like 2-ish seconds. Well, just less than 2 seconds on the Veal side.
Yeah, that gap has definitely come down. Earlier, Veilside had a lead of about 21 seconds. It has come down quite dramatically, maybe due to traffic or an incident, we're not quite sure. Last lap time of 58, which is about, well, that's back marker pace, so probably was stuck in traffic. But look at that drift. Maybe his tires are just dead.
Yeah.
Oh no!
And hold on.
Where is that? Is he going to be able to pull out ahead of Cow, or is he?
I mean, where's Veilside?
He's just at the end of this corner,
He's
I think.
there! This could be Cow's race to win!
Oh, what a disastrous mistake. He had this win in the bag. And now Cow, with fresh tires, has a crazy run on him. Going from the inside, not even needing to slingshot around the outside. Oh, and that actually could be good for Andrew as well. He's still close enough to make a move on Veilside. Just 3 minutes left to go, and this fight for the lead's been turned on its head.
I mean, Andrew still in the background, and if Veilside has damage, this could be potential for Andrew to slide up into P2 position.
Yeah, I mean, that is just, oh. I know it wouldn't have been as bad if, I can't remember if that was Trouble or Ellie there, but either way, that's a massive mistake to have when you're that late into the race. You just got to bring it home, and I don't think he was pushing that much because his pace was slowing as well. That is just a remarkable incident there. 21-second lead, completely fumbled, down to P2 now as Cuckoo overtakes Jedlin for P4. So Jedlin losing that position fairly late on as well. Still has 2 minutes left to fight and try and get it back. Andrew not really catching Veilside as much as I'd anticipated, so maybe Veilside not really having that much damage from it, despite it being quite a monstrous crash.
Yeah, I think
somehow able to keep up with Cal for now.
Yeah, about losing a second that lap though to Cal, and I think as long as Cal doesn't make any mistakes, it could be his win. That being said, anything can happen. I'm just trying to not to commentate to curse Cal.
It's been a fairly calm race for commentators Cursa so far, I must say, as Kay's now in another 3-car fight, this time with Ellie and Trickster for P12. So he's recovered a little bit since his incident already. And Xevious has actually managed to make it back up to P8, and now very close to Exus as well, with just 2 minutes, well, sorry, about 2 laps left to go. So that could be a spicy fight at the end, but let's keep our eyes on the leaders for now. Cal going down the inside of Trouble, lapping him. So that's going to be the end of Trouble's race once they cross the line as well. And Veilside is really close to Andrew now. We're going to go on board.
I think that's Binding. That's Binding there.
Binding doing ahead of Andrew.
I wonder if Binding could be potentially playing some sort of game.
Oh, look how slow Veilside is on the straights.
And I think Andrew's going to be trying to make the move around the outside through corner 3. Hard on the brakes.
Cow.
And I wonder, has Veilside miscalculated how much fuel he's needed to put in that car and trying to save?
It looks like it, because he was keeping up with Cal fine for a few laps, and now he suddenly lost 3 seconds to him. A very dramatic finish there once again. Although actually they have 1 lap left to go, so Andrew still has to bring it home. Same for Cal, as they're now on lap 70 of 70 in total. Checks out nicely. But let's just go. Oh, we've missed the Xevious overtake.
No.
And he's actually gapped Exus already, which is quite remarkable. He's flying right now. He's setting 56 fives in a busted car.
I mean, maybe he fixed it in the repairs.
I guess he's definitely... He's only 23 seconds off the lead.
All we know is as Cal rounds the final corner...
Oh, and Veilside's getting aggressive again. He's really on the back of Andrew once again. Just 2 tenths separating the two with only a corner left to go.
Oh, and that's
a
contact! But I think that's going to be Andrew holding on to second place, just taking it. Veilside was holding P1 for quite a long time, but it's going to be Cal across the line to win his first official MSR race.
Andrew in second. Veilside brings it home in P3. Cuckoo still ahead of Jedlin as they come across the line. And Mammoth on his own in P6. Fairly good damage recovery, but Xevious coming back from last into 7th place with a 23-second gap to the lead. That is one of the best recovery drives I have seen in a long time, so hats off to him there as Exus follows him home in P8. Cooney stuck behind. Fennec pitting on the final lap? Was that even legal?
I mean, there are no mandatory pit stops.
That was a splash and dash if I've ever seen one. Wow.
I mean, I wonder if maybe he's been forced into the pit stop.
I mean, he actually did do something in the pit box, so if it was fuel related, you'd think he could have just rolled across the line, maybe hope for someone to push him. But yeah, he comes down home in P12, so he's lost out.
Andrew in the chat saying, I will call Cal after that P1. Holy cow. Oh, that was brilliant. So yeah, it's going to be Cal to take victory for round 2 at Jacarepaguá. I'm never going to get that
You're never
right.
going to have to pronounce that again after
Thank
tonight.
God. Andrew taking second. Veilside, unfortunately, having an incident in the last couple minutes. taking P3, Cuckoo in P4, Jedlin in P5, Wild Mammoth in P6, Xevious in P7, Exus in P8, Kunisek in P9, Ultimate K's in P10, Ellie in P11, Fennec in P12, Ricky in P13, Trickster in P14, Dealau in P15, Binding in P16, and Trouble in P17, and finally JD in P18.
Yeah, that was quite the unexpected twist for the end of this race there. I was pretty surprised as... Oh, hold on. Yeah, looks like no penalties at the end of this one, which is nice. But Dealau has a DNF, and so does Trickster.
Alright, as we're now waiting for some interviewees, and
We've got half the grid ready already. They're very enthusiastic this time.
And I think it's only appropriate to bring in our race winner, Cow, also now known as Holy Cow, into the VC.
Welcome, Cow. That was quite the performance there at the end. Congrats on your win.
Well, thank you. The car did a damn good job driving around the track.
We noticed you'd been in the fight for the lead for quite some time, but it seemed to go wrong at your pit stop. What was happening there?
Well, Veilside didn't take tires, and I took some tires, and I also overfueled by 30 liters.
Well, better to be safe than sorry, as we always say. It got you the win in the end. Do you think the fresh tires were absolutely crucial to winning the race?
I'm not sure. I mean, it definitely would have been tough without it. What happened to Veilside?
Well, he had an incident which seemed to have, well, when we got the camera back on to him, he'd already lost half of his lead, and then we caught him spinning out in a corner and getting collected by a back marker, and that put him right in front of you, and then he kept up with you for a few laps before slowing down again, and then fighting again in the very last lap. So maybe fuel management, we'll have to figure it out in the interview later. But yeah, that was a very confusing end to the race.
Yeah, for sure. Like, when I took tires, I saw, like, every lap I was gaining, like, a second on him because, you know, he's on really old, terrible tires. So I think they weren't crucial, but it was an option. And if there was any sort of caution, it would have immediately played into my favor.
Yeah, and speaking of cautions, we didn't really have that many tonight. Were you expecting more?
Honestly, yeah, I thought we were just going to keep doing what we were doing for the first 10 minutes. But yeah, once the field got spread out, that's not too surprising that nothing happened.
Yeah, and the field spread out quite a bit more than it would have at Daytona, even without safety cars as well. How powerful was the slipstream here?
I mean, it's fairly strong. It was pretty annoying for me. I'm not really sure, because I just yoinked my setup off of the top time trial guy, who was JD, who was just wall riding. So I don't know if it was a very good setup, because it seemed like every single straight at the beginning I was getting absolutely dumped. So I just kind of
while in the lead or while in the slipstream yourself?
While in the slipstream myself, just those first few laps trying to get up to the front.
Interesting. Yeah. So since this track does have actual braking zones and traction zones, how many different lines do you feel you could have taken into the corners? Because it definitely seemed like we were seeing people go all over the place.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I was basically doing a different line every time because I was not consistent in my braking at all. Sometimes you could just run wide and, you know, tighten up and shoot out, and other times you just do a little bit tighter of an entry, but it all ends up being about the same.
That is actually pretty surprising because you always hear consistency is king, but I guess you've proved people wrong, at least for strangely shaped ovals. Yeah, Nismo, do you have any more questions for Cal before we move on?
I mean, something I've definitely got to find quite funny is the fact that not winning in Daytona, but as soon as we come to a Brazilian track, you and your American car, you seem to have put some sort of nitrous into the car and able to shoot up into the lead. Yeah, just congratulations on your first official MSR win.
Yeah, third time's a charm. It does seem like given this result on a far more technical track than Daytona, which is basically just a roll of the dice as to where you're gonna finish, hopefully this is more of what the rest of the season is gonna be like for me rather than Daytona.
Yeah, definitely bodes well for your championship position. But I've got one more miscellaneous question for you, and that is, which country has the best beef?
I mean, the U.S. had some pretty good beef over slavery, and then, you know,
That's not the kind of
Russia-
beef I was talking about.
Well, what other beef is there?
The cow kind.
You monster! Good day to you.
Was not expecting that into the interview, but yeah, I'll have to ask him some vegan questions next week. But yeah, let's go ahead and bring in Veilside. Or actually, wait, no, Andrew finished. Who finished P2?
I believe
dementia already.
Andrew.
Yeah, let's bring in Andrew then.
P2. I think we should bring both Andrew and Binding in, since I think Binding helped quite significantly.
Oh, but that means we're not going to get the Cuckoo Binding interview.
Oh,
I feel like that's the duo we can't quite separate.
Okay.
We'll ask Andrew some questions about the teamwork, though.
Okay, let's bring him in.
Andrew, welcome and congrats on that second place. How much teamwork was going on there with Binding at the end?
A fair bit. It was an impromptu. I came out. Well, we just happened to come out next to each other. His race was already over, so he pushed me to second.
And do you feel what do you feel was the most helpful regarding his help? Because it definitely seemed like you were bump drafting a lot, but Cow still managed to catch you in the end.
Was Cow on new tires, or was he just better than me?
I think he was on new tires.
Yeah, I didn't change tires, so it was going to be a hard one. And when he caught me, he just blasted past. I couldn't keep up with him. So.
And we also noticed when Veilside started to falter at the end there, it wasn't you charging towards him, it was actually Binding. So did you have a bit of an incident there, or how did he overtake you?
I let Binding pass me into turn 3 because he was chasing down trouble as well.
Oh, okay, so that's when the teamwork ceased.
Ceased or increased, depends on your perspective. Bring him in here,
Yeah,
bring him in here.
Now let's go ahead and bring him in, I suppose.
He made a lot of friends today, I think. A lot of friends.
Binding, you have friend making allegations. Explain.
What's going on? What's happening?
You've made friends today. Explain.
Who did I make friends with?
Ellie?
Yeah, no, they told me to shut the fuck up and so I basically told them, look, you're not a mod. Be quiet. You don't get to tell me to be quiet.
So after the cow beef from the previous interview, we now have some proverbial beef once again.
I apologize to them for saying that because it was rude, but I'm still kind of hurt, to be honest.
Was there some sort of incident going on?
No, I was getting crashed into 24/7, so I was telling people, "Can you fucking not?" And then they after Kaze told me, "Hey, dude, chill, you're good. We can do this. We can do it in the tickets." Mm-hmm. I just see in the chat, "Can you shut the fuck up?" I was in the race. I was doing my best not to yell at them. I was having the restraint of a saint right there, but right now I think it's kind of funny.
So are you going to bring it to the tickets as well?
Probably not. Honestly, I can't.
Is there an option for reporting someone for telling you to shut the fuck up?
It's whatever. I understand why they said it and I've apologized. It's not the end of the world. Shit happens.
Just a bit of banter at the end of the day, eh?
I mean, Binding's definitely said some worse things to Cuckoo before.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
and to Andrew.
Naturally.
So, Binding, at what point did you stop enjoying tonight's race?
The point after I pitted and I realized that I was several laps down and I had no pace, so I just started becoming a fucking mobile battering ram for Andrew to get him to second.
And did you guys have any sort of strategy regarding lines you take into corners? Because, of course, with the bump drafting, you kind of have to stick together.
Maximize exit.
We stayed in 4th gear because if you downshifted the 3rd and then tried to upshift the 4th, if you had a bit of wheel spin, like it just wouldn't go into gear and it'd cost you like a good half a second. So it was safer to stay in 4th.
Yeah, so that's definitely the interesting thing about a track like this. It's much more technical than anything like Daytona or the banked oval. So yeah, it was a very interesting race to see. Not that many cautions as well, so it definitely made the plot twists a bit less. Well, it made the plot twist more interesting because the thing is, when everyone's together for the entire race on a giant oval like Daytona, there's too much to commentate on. So I thought this was quite nice, actually.
Did you see my finish with trouble though?
Did we, Nisma?
Sorry?
You would remember it if you saw it.
I can't believe you two.
Well, there were quite a few close finishes that we had to keep an eye on, but we can always check the replays later.
Yeah, maybe P16 wasn't priority viewing.
Well, we did look at some of the backmarker fights for a while, but Binding, why don't you tell us what happened before we move on?
I got murdered, and then I got murdered again. Then I got murdered again, and then I ended up in 18th, and then I slowly crawled back to 16th.
No, I'm talking about the finish with trouble.
Oh, I got a better exit coming into the last corner after I was bumping Andrew for the past 20 minutes or so, and I just edged him out in the line. Don't quote me on that, please.
As soon as it left his lips.
Huh?
Oh yeah, but no, that was definitely an interesting race tonight. What do we have on the agenda for next week, Nismo?
Well, we have an oval.
Indianapolis, isn't it?
We have an oval for next week at Gateway.
Oh god. Okay, gentlemen, you know Cuckoo, right? So I remember she was talking about in the race interview chat how she had a bone to pick with JD, and JD's now apologizing but saying he was faster than her. We're gonna see some tomfoolery.
I think we saw that actually. I think we saw a bit of contact between them.
After this, I'm also going to apologize to Ellie directly in the post-race hangout because it was kind of rude what I said, but I was also really pissed off with her. So.
Before I go, I need to apologise to Exevius because I put him in the wall.
No apologies.
I put him in the wall. He died. He died in real life.
No. I fucking shot him in the face for the video.
Yeah, I think we might need another letter for that level of penalty there. But yeah, thanks for coming on, the two of you. It's been interesting to listen to your strategic teamwork. I think we've just missed Veilside, unfortunately, unless he wants to come back in there.
I think he's going to get a rope, mate. To be honest with you,
I do not blame him.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate loss of the lead there for him at the end, but he still recovered with the podium. So all in all, still good for the standings. Thanks for coming on, Andrew and Binding. We'll move on to the next interview.
Okay, sorry I've not been as bombastic in this interview, but I'm kind of...
Well, it's because we didn't pull in Cuckoo with you.
That's true. I've just had a shit couple of races. I don't think I finished in the top 15 in the last 4.
Well, wishing you all the best for the next few.
Yep, hopefully. I'll see you guys in a bit. Thank you.
Cheers.
Alright, who do we bring in next?
Yeah, I wanted to bring in Veilside, but he's not here anymore, so I'll let you pick.
Well, I'm gonna have a look at the race results quickly, see who finished where. Where did well, it's gotta be Cuckoo. I mean, Cuckoo finished 4th. So let's bring them in.
Cuckoo, welcome.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't bring you in with Binding this time because we had some teammate interviews going on there.
He's a bit upset.
Yes, that was addressed as well. But your race ended up being quite the comeback. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was a crazy one. That's for sure. Qualifying was disappointing, I would say. I think I started down in 15th or something, so not really where I wanted to be. I would have liked to be like 8th or something, verge of top 10. That would have been nicer. But yeah, I wasn't entirely sure how much pace I would have around this track, but I managed to stay out of trouble quite well, and incidents sort of happened around me, and I ended up profiting from quite a lot of them.
Do you mean you were staying out of the concept of trouble or actual trouble?
The concept of trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone sort of... I had a few incidents where there were big crashes and I just kind of drove straight through without any problems, which was a blessing. Yeah, and then I got stuck on the back of a big train. I think I was in 7th or something. I got stuck on the train up to 3rd place, which Kays was leading at the time, I think. And I didn't really have the pace to catch up to them and challenge them. And I just sort of tried to stay on the back of them as much as I could. I I think I really struggled when the cloud cover got worse in the middle of the race. Actually,
Really, the weather played an effect.
I think it did for me. I think I definitely felt that grip, especially for me, started falling away quite badly with the cloud cover coming in. And
Are you sure that was the cloud cover, not the tire wear?
I think it was cloud cover, because when the clouds went away again and it was sunny and the track heated back up, I actually started closing back in on that pack ahead of me after falling off them with the clouds. So I definitely got faster with the sun coming out myself. And then obviously I had that nutty sprint to the end versus Jedlin.
I've definitely, as a, well, I would say former racer, but I do still race in other leagues. I've had that as well before. Usually just in really extended races, though, where you have like a stint at night and then you're in the day again. And I'm always really slow when the track is too cold at night, and then everything speeds up again when the sun comes out. But yeah, never had that with just a few clouds before. So interesting to see how sensitive this kart track combo really was. But you ended up really bringing it back home into P4, I believe?
Yeah, P4 at the end. So I just managed to get Jedlin, which was, yeah, that battle was simultaneously amazing and incredibly frustrating all at the same time. Because JD had caught up to us, and he kept trying to unlap himself and getting in the middle of us, and I'm sitting there fuming because I keep being pushed out of my lines and stuff and having to go wide because, you know, they've stuck a nose in or they've got in between the two of us, and it's like, you're a lap down, there's no one else around ahead of us, you're literally not really fighting for anything at that point while we're having a battle for 4th place with, like, you know, 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, it is like, pretty frustrating.
Just hang back just a little bit and let us do this. But yeah, amazing battle with Jedlin. He had me covered for the first little while, and then I think like 4 minutes to go or something, I managed to get in front of him. And then
I was actually going to ask about that as well, because you seemed to be struggling behind Jedlin for a while, and once you overtook him, there was no real comeback from him. So was it just the pace switched, or what happened there?
I think I was just getting a better launch out of some corners. I sort of adjusted my line slightly to basically be a bit riskier with what kind of angle I was putting my car at going into these corners. Mm-hmm. And that seems to have a good effect. So that got me right on the back of them into out of the final corner, I believe. And then I got past them. I think it was into turn 1. And then I stayed ahead of them for like 2-3 laps. And then they just eased back past me. And then I think I mostly did the same thing again, pretty much. I think into the final corner, I managed to. I think I zoomed to the inside and got the launch.
Now, one thing that I've noticed as well is in this race there was a lot less bump drafting than in the previous one, but I'm assuming you still had quite a bit of it considering how many positions you managed to recover in the end.
I don't think I really did, to be honest. I think at least in my instance, I never really made much bumper contact with anyone. It just sort of, the straights weren't quite long enough for me to close up in that manner. So yeah, I had a few instances where I had people tap the back of me. One of them was when I shifted from 3rd to 4th, and I got a hefty whack there, but survived that one, thankfully. Yeah, but it did. I don't think it played too much of a role for my race. I think I just did quite a good job at staying out of trouble, and then my race pace was actually quite decent in the end of it.
Well, that it certainly was, and P4, although not a podium, is still really, really good for the standings. So I'm gonna hand the mic over to Nismo and wish you good luck for the rest of the season.
Yeah, double P4's not too bad so far. I'd like one position higher, but can't always happen.
Yeah, and
are you alive?
Yeah, I've got one final question before. Well, yeah, I've got one final question. And only 2 safety cars this race compared to what I believe was 6 last race. Were you expecting more this race, or were expecting like 2 or 3?
I'm not sure I'd really thought of a number, to be honest. I kind of thought there's probably going to be at least a couple, but I didn't think it was going to be as bad as round 1. I didn't think it would be as bad as round one, but I did expect there to still be a couple, especially early on. You know, when everyone's bunched up a bit more.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened, really.
Yeah, but then they all learned their lesson and held hands for the rest of the race.
More or less, yeah. I think there was some shouting along the way, but
yeah, I think at least the stewards' room will be a little less busy next Thursday. But yeah, we'll just have to wait for the next real oval.
I definitely had a few unaired shouts towards the end. But no, yeah, really, really good race actually, and I'm glad it was a lot cleaner than the first round.
Well, I hope you have plenty more clean races to come. Thanks for coming on tonight. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully, I will have more P4s to talk about in future as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I'm managing it, but I'd like it to keep going.
Yeah, well, best of luck for next time then.
Thank you.
All right, now let's go ahead and bring in Jedlin.
See, there he is.
Jedlin, welcome. Strong finish from you in the end, P5.
Yep, that's correct.
Did you enjoy your race?
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it was a weird experience. The car was like driving not on the asphalt, but rather dirt. I was feeling like. Have you ever watched Motorcycle Speedway?
I don't believe so. Are you saying it felt like dirt racing?
Yeah, it was feeling like dirt racing. The car had a very little grip. I was entering most of the corners with a slide.
Jedlin, are you talking about the motorcycle races where they're basically going sideways through 90% of the corners? Where like the oval ones.
Yeah, it was the only possible way to keep the tires warm and to keep any grip. The track was really cold.
Did you end up pitting for fresh tires in the end?
No, I did not.
Do you think after finishing P5 that staying on the old tires was still the best choice?
Yeah, I think it was still the best choice. I would lose 20 seconds on new set of tires.
Yeah, it's always quite a gamble to go for an extra set of tires, and these races, of course, not always as long as a lot of the real life races would have been. So definitely something to take into account there. But Jedlin, tell us a bit about your fight with Cuckoo towards the end.
Yeah, so let's start with the fact that that my pit stop didn't went as well as expected. I pitted only for fuel, but entering the pit stop, I spun out and hit the barrier.
Ooh.
Thankfully, damage wasn't really that significant, but I lost that crucial 5 and 6 or 6 seconds. I don't remember exactly how much time.
And
but
did you feel like the damage cost you any time on the straights?
No, I repaired it. I repaired them. But that cost me another second or two repairing that aero damage.
Yeah, so that's a little bit unfortunate there. Do you remember where you finished last week?
It was way down the order, P16 or P17. But I crashed out during the final stint.
Yeah, so this week definitely a much better result for you. Are you do you feel like P5 is representative of where you think you are on ovals?
Pretty much yes, but at the good day I can win on the oval. I was boasting myself with pretty good oval capabilities and skills. I proved that during the IndyCar season.
Yep, and I mean, especially getting P5 in a grid like this is no fluke either. So with that kind of pace, if you manage to stay with the lead fight, I definitely think you have a good chance there.
Yeah, but we have to see what the next races will bring. And you have asked about my battle with Cuckoo.
Yes.
So it was a pretty intense fight, a close one. We've traded points once or twice. To be fair, JD was kind of obstacle because he was a lap down and he was involved in that fight, despite he would achieve nothing by that. But I will let it. But I will let it slide. Happened. I don't have any hurt feeling.
Yeah, we've
Okay,
he's put an apology for it in the chat as well.
yeah, but he bought me some time. Cuckoo couldn't properly attack me, but when he did it in a very tremendous way, to lack of better words, because he performed a successful attempt of a switchback in turn 3.
Oh,
He was on the outside, I was on the inside. I wasn't on the better line, so I had to let the throttle off, and he had a better exit from that turn, so he could position himself better to turn 4. And that was the maneuver that bought him fourth place. Nonetheless, a very great fight.
well, I'm definitely glad to hear you enjoyed it, and yeah, it's still a fairly respectable haul of points as well. So in the end, we're all here for fun anyway. So that's a pretty good evening in my books. Nismo, do you have any more questions for Jedlin before we move on to the final interview?
Yeah, Gateway and Indianapolis are next. Two interesting circuits, to say the least. Not as interesting as this, though. Which one are you looking forward to the most?
Gateway, definitely Gateway. And I'm not only talking about my history with the track. I've achieved in Gateway my only victory in MSR so far.
Oh yeah, hang
But
on. Was that in the Sorry to cut you off. Was that in the IndyCar League?
yeah, it was during IndyCar season.
I think I remember that actually. So hopefully you can have the same luck there.
Yeah, but we have to remember those those Chevrolet Omegas are night and day comparing to those Indy cars.
Yeah.
We will there will be definitely different feeling. I would have to work with my throttle and brake much more. And I can predict now my result, but it's a circuit that I definitely enjoy. It's it's asymmetrical design with with first corners significantly slower than another than turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's definitely going to make it interesting to watch. So glad you enjoyed tonight. I'm glad you're looking forward to the next one as well. I sure am as well. And yeah, gonna have to wish you a good night there, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Good night and see you next week.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
All right, now we have Fennec here for the final interview of the night.
Yeah, and let's wipe him in here.
Oh, hello.
Fennec,
Hello.
welcome. Now, you finished P12, which is undoubtedly not what you would have hoped for, but fought in the upper levels of the midfield for quite a while. So tell us a bit about your adventures tonight.
Yeah, it was interesting. A lot of avoiding cars, a lot of understeering because my setup was not that great and made in 2 minutes.
Ooh.
I didn't do any practice.
Of course, the Fennec way.
I didn't know I was driving it until about an hour before the race. So,
I mean, you are a reserve driver, to be completely fair, but yeah.
yes, I am. And then, yeah, I could have been fighting for 8. A few laps ago, I made a large mistake. Was battling with Exus. Did a lot of fishtailing down next straight and lost 6 seconds. And between that and the extra lap that I didn't expect to get, I ran out of fuel just
so that's
after
what
the last
there.
corner. So
Yeah, I was wondering why.
I managed to coast it into the pits, just to the pit box, and put in 1 liter to finish. If I hadn't done that, I think I would have stopped on the line, maybe.
And you didn't think anyone could have tried to push you over, maybe?
Possibly yes, but whether anyone would have wanted to, I don't know.
I mean, you do have a teammate.
Yes, who won the race, so they probably could have pushed me over.
Either way,
But,
it was pretty entertaining to see you pull in on the final lap. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
No, it's quite funny. I probably should have looked at the fuel earlier and just saved a bit more, but I didn't expect to have fuel issues because I thought I had an extra lap, but which I didn't have in the end as a result of The leader's doing an extra lap.
So how much lifting did you do on your last lap to try and make it to the line?
Oh, well, I didn't realize until I was coming out of the first corner of that last lap.
Uh-huh.
So essentially, rather than braking into the last corner, I just lifted extremely early and coasted all the way.
So if you had realized the lap sooner, you think you might have been able to coast over the line as well?
Oh, I would have gotten over with fuel quite easily.
That is definitely one of the most unique finishes I think we've seen in a long time. Was there anyone still behind you on the same lap?
That's a good question that I don't know the answer to.
Let's take a look at the results here. It says Fennec, 54.
What I will say.
Whoa, hold on. It says you beat Ricky by half a second.
Oh, actually, yes, that's true. I got past the line just before he came over.
That's the perfect.
I think that was probably
right
the last one. I think it would be hard for there to be anyone else.
Yeah,
on
the rest
lap.
are DNFs or lap down.
Right, good. Yeah. I think normally around a lap it's about 2.5 liters, and I think I did about 0.7 maybe over half of that last lap. So yeah, I didn't use much fuel over that last corner. Just
it's definitely interesting though. We're multiple races into the season so far, and we're still seeing people underfueling in the pit stop. So I wonder.
Well, you say that,
yes,
but we're 3 races in, including the preseason, and I didn't do Daytona because I wasn't here. So.
Well, yeah, but we're still halfway down the season.
Yeah, but I've only done 2 races, so that was the second race.
Well, you've still done. Wait, what's 2 out of 3 percentage wise? You've still done like 60+% of the races.
66.6.
Yeah, but when that's 2, I've only had 2 attempts.
Yeah, but the rest has only had 3. That's not an excuse.
That is an excuse.
I feel like that is an excuse. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up now.
Well,
it was quite funny. Sometimes a bit dicey with, especially with people going quicker through the middle of the corner than me.
Oh yeah, actually,
I understand better. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you as well, since you were in the midfield so much. Did you spot what caused any of the safety cars?
Yes.
Please enlighten us.
I don't know about the second one, but the first one essentially resulted from, I think it was Trixer trying to go up inside of binding in T3, and on exit just touching, and they basically both wobbled and got collected by a load of people.
Ah, that's a shame.
Including myself, but thankfully I didn't get damage.
Yeah, these cars seem to be quite forgiving when it comes to smacking into the wall or people.
Yeah, I think that is true. Obviously, if you hit it hard, it will damage the car, but...
And when you actually do have a hard hit, is it aero and suspension, or...?
I think normally aero. Suspension... Or at least I'm probably not the best to comment, but...
Yeah, we need you to crash more to get better data.
Yeah, I'm trying not to do that. I almost did another few times, but I just about managed to not.
Yeah, what was the biggest challenge about driving this kind of car at this track?
Probably if you try and go for a late braking move, the car can become quite hard to control, because if you get it slightly wrong, the balance shifts and you might end up sliding a lot or understeering a lot. So you need to be quite careful if it's a hard braking zone.
Mm-hmm.
There were definitely a couple of incidents or close calls that happened because of things like that. So,
and was it usually when you were trying to go for an overtake, or if you were defending?
Bit of both, really. Or I did do it once just by accident, braking too late and almost put it in the wall. So, I don't know. Even if you just don't have your braking points down.
All right. Well, I will ask one final miscellaneous question for myself before I hand over the mic to Nismo. And that is, if you could have any of the current drivers on the grid as a co-driver / spotter, like in Rally, who would you pick?
Probably Cow. He seems pretty good at these things. Seems quite good at ovals.
I'll let him know in the next interview, see if he's interested.
Well.
All right, Nismo, mic's over to you.
Yeah. Yeah, 12th place. I wonder, are we gonna see you in any further upcoming races, such as Gateway or Indianapolis, being a reserve driver?
Yes, I've already got seats for those.
To both of them?
Which were, yeah, I got those before I got this one, so.
Oh, wait, you're basically a full-time driver then. I think you're competing in
Well, not for the same team though.
Not for
so...
the same. You're hopping. You're hopping.
He's a driver for hire.
You're like George Russell getting out of a Williams and then running into a Mercedes.
And Formula E Super Sub.
Yeah.
Well, not Formula E, Extreme E Super Sub.
Well, Nismo, Russell's not the best example there because when you say he runs into a Mercedes, he did the same thing at Imola as well.
Oh, well, hold on. You're like Mazepin
Hulkenberg.
getting in and then out the car straight away. No, but yeah, no. Hopefully, yeah, we'll see you racing. Do you know
At
what
least
team
finish the
you're
race, so I
racing
can't
for?
be Mazepin. Who will I be racing for? Sorry.
Yeah, in the next one, so we can catch you at your car.
I will be replacing Exus
In both of them?
in both.
Oh, you're gonna get the Patrick livery then.
Yeah, I got to look at it a lot today, so I guess I'll just get to look at it more from a different perspective.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Oh,
yeah,
whoa, wait, no, but since this is actually a nice extra thing that I just remembered, so we had this whole dilemma about the SpongeBob liveries earlier during the race in the first few minutes, because we noticed that the Patrick livery has Patrick's face on the front and his pants on the back, but then you look at the SpongeBob livery and it has his face on the front and some weird blue stuff on the back. What happened
So
to
one
his
of them
pants?
must be upside down. That's a good question. I think Kaze would be the correct person to ask for that.
Well, I thought I'd ask you since you're going to be driving for his team.
But I don't know. I haven't looked at the livery yet, other than
my question is though,
in the rearview mirror or the back of it. So
does SpongeBob actually wear pants? Because I'm trying to think off my head if he does.
Do you think he's naked all the time?
And if so, does he wear blue? They got to be blue.
No,
then.
he does not have blue pants.
What color is?
have you watched
SpongeBob
SpongeBob before?
I don't.
It was so
I'm
long
convinced
ago.
he's never seen a single episode of SpongeBob.
No, it was. I watched it ages ago when I was like really young. It was.
Okay. They're not blue. Do you want to have a guess what color they are? Shouldn't be too hard.
Oh, are they brown?
Yes.
Oh, so Nisma, I just want you to take a look at the chat real quick.
His name is SpongeBob.
That should give you a hint as to whether he wears pants or not.
Fuck's sake.
You know, he's not wrong.
SpongeBob, my boy. And hello.
But you gotta say it with a raspiness to your voice, I guess. SpongeBob, me boy.
Are you ready, kids?
I don't think Nismo can do that.
My voice is already half dead from this commentary, so
Do you need some hydration?
How much hydration?
Well, I'm disappointed because you changed it from 300 in his money to 500, so I no longer have more than 100 hydrates.
You know,
I'm not spending my NIS money until he reduces the price again.
Ever since the UK election, you know, I've had to increase my prices.
This is his money, not British pounds.
All I know is the current exchange rate's pretty bad.
Yeah, I love that. As soon as we started talking about SpongeBob, by the way, we've got 3 extra viewers in this. In this. I love it. Absolutely.
Long
hilarious.
live the algorithm.
Yeah.
As soon as you stop talking about racing.
No, we've had that before as well, where we do the actual race and then suddenly we have like double the viewers for the interviews.
Well, that's normally because they're ones that have been added.
Well, you'd think that, right? But it's not. We do always get a few extra for the interviews, but it's usually not to the degree of doubling the viewership.
Okay.
So that's only happened a few times, but yeah, it's been interesting. But I hope everyone's enjoyed watching Quali, the race, and these post-race shenanigans today. Nisma, do you have any more questions for Fennec?
No questions from me.
All right, well, Fennec, unless you have any questions for us, I think we're going to have to let you go for tonight. Thanks for coming on.
Yep, that's all right. Thank you for having me for this chat.
It's been a pleasure.
So, see you next week.
Until next time.
Bye.
And wow, what a set of interviews, and my eyes have been now opened to the world of SpongeBob SquarePants even further. Yeah, what a race we've had. I don't think we're gonna have any tracks that's more complicated like this one, but we do have Gateway, which I believe does have one sharp turn and one long turn.
Well,
definitely...
when you say that, keep in mind we will have hopefully another season where it's not just oval. So I think we're gonna have tracks that are more complex than ones with like 4 quarters.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a absolute fantastic race, and well, yeah, I don't have too much to say now. So yeah, it's been great commentating as always, guys. Thank you for following. Thank you for those who've subscribed, and yeah, until next time, it's been great commentating, and yeah, good night.
And in case Nickelodeon is watching, we do accept sponsorships, so hashtag not sponsored yet. Good night, everyone.
And they're off. Green flag racing. Matt's getting an amazing start. Ultimate Case actually catching speed. Napping. Matt getting the jump on his teammate down the inside. Necron losing to Cuckoo on the start. Can he pressure Dino into a mistake? Dino goes too wide and extremely close for P1. And is this going to be Jadlin going down the inside? Oh, there's a bit of contact. Oh, that's a spin. And that's another safety car. Oh my god, this carnage.
Jedlin and Kaze are both in the pits. Fennec, Exus, and Diener all coming in as well. It'll be very tight if he still wants to make it to the back of this pack, but in the meantime, we do have everyone out of the pit, so we're probably going to get going on this next lap. We are, in fact, restarting now, regardless of that incident.
Okay, he's looking for that undercut. Does he get it? It looks like he might do. They're side by side and very close together. Cuckoo looking for that inside line on Jedlin ahead. Going into 130R, but they're going to be wanting to go fully defensive into the chicane of Casio Triangle. He's going to end up finishing in P1, crossing the line. Greenlink's going to cross the line. It's going to be Ultimate K's across the line.
Gillish comes across the line to win his second MSR title.